How much does it cost to start an LLC? That's exactly what we're going to talk about. Why do you need an LLC? Not only that, I'm going to expand to other entities you might need. What does it cost to start? Why do you need it? And how do you get one? Let's begin. So let's start with the easy one. How much does it cost to set up an LLC? Well, you can go online. You can figure it out by yourself. And, a lot of people try to do it for free. And then there's like sites that will help you like LegalZoom. And there's this $99 corporate store and a bunch of those kind of guys. But there's not an expert there. So sometimes you'll go there or you just go to us. I have an expert. He's over 25 years in entity creation and structure and corporate compliance. So it costs appropriately about $2,000. And you say, oh my gosh, like why is that so much more? Like why would I spend $2,000 if I could do it for free? And here's why. You don't have the documents. So what I would do, if you're really questioning this, I'd walk into the bank and I would ask the bank, what does it take to open a bank account? You need articles of incorporation, you need an EIN, a TIN, you're gonna need operating agreements. And if your operating agreements is held by other companies, you're going to need those operating agreements. If it's held by trust, you need the trust documents. Because of 2010, 11, 12, the banking laws have become so much more strict about opening corporations. So you have to have it. You got to have the right documents. And more importantly, going forward, what you get when you come into our team is you get compliance. There's 81,000 pages of tax code. So let's talk about the why. Why get incorporated? And this isn't just an LLC. Right? C-Corps are a little more expensive, S-Corps. And for some of you that live in California and New York, some of these other states, you really got to get some right counsel on what do you do? Where's your point of nexus? How are you transacting financially? There's so much consideration, not just one thing of, oh, I have a company, I need an LLC. Too many people do that casually. It needs to be very strategically talked about. And then the compliance, 81,000 pages of tax code. So here's what I want to tell you. Companies make money. LLCs, limited partnerships, S-Corps, C-Corps, trusts. If you're in another part of the world watching this, you have the same kinds of things we have, but not as big as benefit. See, as an individual, you can do a Schedule C, 20, 30 little items inside that Schedule C, or you can activate 81,000 pages of tax code. Now, stay to the end because I'm going to give you a gift that is invaluable. We wrote a private report about this and how important it is. So when you're 18 years old, when my son was 18, when my daughter becomes 18, they're getting an LLC for their birthday. Why? Because they're an adult. They have a legal age now. They have businesses that they have a legal right to make money, which means they have a legal right to do those deductions. So which way do you want to pay tax is how I want to say this. Do you want your company to make money, activate 81,000 pages of tax code, and then pay tax? Or do you want to make money by yourself, pay tax, and then live? Which way do you want your tax basis? You choose at 18 years old. And I know so many of you have not been told this. And your accountant probably uses this horrible conversation of, you don't make enough money to be incorporated. Making the money to be incorporated has nothing to do with the intention of what you're doing. Your intention is to be a smart entrepreneur, have legal deductions at 81,000 pages. You want asset protection. You want liability protection. You had a whole reason to be incorporated. To just live by yourself? How do you do this? By the way, I have some great videos called Own Nothing, Control Everything. Welcome to the Rockefeller family, the Carnegie family. The wealthiest families in the world do exactly what I'm talking to you about. So do it right and put a team around yourself that can help you stay compliant. Of the 81,000 pages of tax code, it breaks down into about 263 to 268 resolutions, which mean how do you put your car in your company? How do you put your cell phone? How do you do wardrobe? How do you do healthcare? How do you do all this stuff? And unless you are with experts, like you don't need to learn this. Are you really going to go to the irs.gov site and study 81,000 pages of code? No, you need to be focused on making money. Stay in your cash machine, stay in your lane, and hire the experts. That's what they do every day, all day. So do you need one? Yes. So if you're 18 years and older and you want to make money, you want to get wealthy, you get an entity now, like right now. What does it cost? I told you. Why you need it? Just told you that. So let's talk about some very specifics. So let's talk about specifics. And yes, this is a little American-centric, but I do want to talk about a C-Corp and an S-Corp. We have millionaires that run usually their infrastructure with anywhere between 3 to 6 companies. Why? Because they're segregating assets and liabilities. And it's really important. Some of you that are out there listening and you're publishers, you're speakers, you have a database. Anyone listening has a database. Why is the database, which is your most pristine asset, being held in the same entity that might have employees or customers, people who can create huge liability and attach to that asset? So we have very different significant structures. And for those of you listening, I'm not giving tax advice and I'm not giving corporate structure advice. I just have a lot of experience, 25, 26 years in this space. You won't be talking to me exactly about this. I'm going to educate you. You're going to say, hey, I want to learn more. And I'm going to give you to my absolute experts of 20 plus years too in those conversations. But a multiple corporate structure provides tax benefits at the highest level, because a C-Corp also, it gets a different tax year end. It's not what's called a flow through. It's not going to come down to you in your personal tax return. So say you have an LLC that runs a company, an S-Corp that runs a company, an LLC that has some real estate. The depreciation from your real estate will flow through the combined tax return. It's called a flow through down to you at the end of the year. And it files tax on 12/31. Your C-Corp's completely independent. It gets the depreciation. It will never hit you. Like, it's completely separate from you. It gets a different tax year end. So a lot of our clients have March 31st, June 30th, September as tax year ends. So that way you can mitigate excessive tax. You can dissect your assets and liabilities. We call it the king of the kingdom. You got to have it, or the mothership. We have a lot of fun names for C-Corps. And if those of you that are around the world, we have a lot of our international higher net worth clients that actually form a C-Corp here in Northern Nevada in one of my partners' offices, and they fund it and they can then buy U.S. assets. So we have a lot of those folks that do it. And yes, it's going to roll back up to your world return, but it is such an advantage that you can't get anywhere else in the world. And S-Corp, I'm going to talk about the S-Corp for a little bit. Those of you in California, New York, Pennsylvania, a few places, you get the benefits differently. In the S-Corp, there's several states where you just don't get the benefits of an LLC, and you got to have the S-Corp for some tax strategies because those states tax so highly, which is why I lived for California for a minute, and then I moved to Nevada. In fact, when I moved first, I lived in a place called State Line, like literally 100 meters from the California border. I love California, hate their tax structure. So I moved to Nevada, which a lot of people do. And in fact, when you actually activate inside of our Nevada companies, we have a division called Nevada Workspace, where you can actually get a lease, have an office, come work in Northern Nevada. If you want to go skiing up in Tahoe, you can go ski, get your mail, answer your phone, deliver packages, do all of it for you. So if you're interested in living corporate life thoroughly, because that's what we teach. We don't teach you a program we're going to get incorporated and check the box. We teach you a lifestyle that then those companies actually move on through trust to generations that are going to go after you. So some of you have been seeing this LLC thing and getting a simple LLC and you take them up and take them down. The way we're going to teach you is you take these things up and you structure them and you get bank accounts and corporate credit. They should never go down. They should last for 50 to 100 years inside your generational wealth plan. You take an entity down, you just blew every reason why you did it. So there's a lot more robust conversation that we need to have about it and how you should be activating inside of it. And the biggest piece is your corporate compliance. You can't commingle these. You've got to keep your books clean, your credit cards clean. We got a team who can do all of that for you. So if you're interested in actually making a lot of money, putting that money to work, keeping it for generational wealth, we're your team. If not, good luck out there. But if you're liking this, I want you to subscribe to my channel. I want you to click the notification button and put some comments in. Are you incorporated? Are you not incorporated? What do you need more of? I'll tell you what I love to do is what I call forecasting, is how do you spend now that you have corporate structure? What can you legally write off? Right? That's just a great conversation. And at any time, if there's some conversation or there's a content piece that's interesting to you, go up to the search bar and type in the words. And I have hundreds and hundreds of videos out here for you to activate and learn more. I want you here 5 days a week with me, getting financially literate. Get your kids involved. The faster they get involved, the more money the whole family will make. So if you're interested in truly living corporate life, when I click on the link, it says fill out the application. So you're going to fill out a quick application, which will take you to a meeting with one of my senior team members. And very specifically in there, it will check a box. Are you incorporated? Yes or no? Do you have a trust? Yes or no? And then you'll also talk to those team members. So there'll be several meetings that you're going to have so we can really assess how we can help you and what we think you need. For those of you who activate those appointments and interviews, I'm going to give you a phenomenal free report. It's our tax and entity report. We keep it up to date every year. It's all the nuances of what you need to know about the tax code and how it affects you. So have a conversation with our team, read the tax and entity report, and hope to see you at one of my workshops.